Hello, and welcome to the Yas Marina Bay circuit in Abu Dhabi for the grand finale of the 2022 World Formula One Championship. So, as we are into our first qualifying session, sticking with tradition, we are first of all going to let everybody else go out and set their lap, as the weather is not changeable. Just for note, that if the weather would be changeable, we would go straight out and set a banker lap. But as the weather is going to be nice and stable, we have plenty of time to let everyone else go first, so that we have the entire track to ourselves. So it looks like we have possibly a Red Bull just up ahead of us. They will be pulling into the pits. We may actually get past them before then anyway. So it's Lando Norris, so it was a McLaren, not a Red Bull, and he has let us pass so that we can make our way through the final section, the stadium section of the track. And we can now begin our first flying lap of the day. So Yas Marina is quite an enjoyable track to drive. It's not the most popular of tracks, but it is quite a lot of fun if we don't run extremely wide over the curves there. That's probably caused quite a lot of damage if this was real life. So, around the hairpin and down the back straight here, and we are now going to be approaching what I find to be the most trickiest section. So once we get around this corner here, get it nice and tight. I always struggle getting the car turned for the right-hander, and then we can accelerate on back down the old pit straight area here using DRS, and around the nice big hairpin at the end here. We want to use as much curb as we can on the exit, and then into the very hard braking section and back into the stadium area. So we have just 2 more corners to go now. Can we hold it on the track? Take plenty of curb there. I took a little bit too much and ended up running wide, but that shouldn't affect our run too much. And we get a 1:28.6, which will give us pole position for the time being. So we're going to make our way straight back to pits here, and we will speed up the clock so that we can see just who is doing quite well. Looks like we have a Ferrari just over a second behind us, followed very closely by Mr. Verstappen, and he has one of the fastest sectors, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him. So with qualifying 1 taken care of, I think it's time to move straight into the second qualifying session, and just as we have done in the past, we will remain on the same set of tyres we used for the first session. Although the gap between us and second place wasn't as big as I would have liked, never mind, we'll let everyone else go out and set their times. We only need to make it into the top 10, I believe, for this session. So we're just going to take ourselves out onto the track here, and we'll take it nice and easy through these final remaining corners before starting our flying lap. There is a Red Bull quite a way up ahead of us, probably on their in lap. We may very well catch them by the end, so we have to keep an eye out for them. That will probably be Max Verstappen. So we begin our flying lap, and plenty of curb here, not too much, and this time we do actually make it round the right-hander. We brake as late and as hard as possible for the hairpin. A little bit wide there, but shouldn't cost us too much. we are losing grip on the tyres, as these are the softs and they have the shortest lifespan. So into another hard braking area, plenty of curb on the way in, and on the right hander a little bit wide once again, a bit too much curb on the exit, but we managed to survive that one as well. So opening DRS, we can just head down the rear straight around the larger hairpin, drifting out to the edge of the track. We want to take plenty of curb on the way in here, hard on the brakes once again, turned ever so slightly too early there, which has put me out of place for the next corner, but we managed to once again survive. Plenty of curb on the penultimate corner. This time we didn't run wide, so it's a much nicer, smoother run, and we have a 1:29.0, so slightly slower, but that was to be expected on used tyres. So let's get back to the garage here, and we are only roughly half a second ahead of Max Verstappen. Again, he is much faster than us through the middle sector of the lap. So with 2 sessions now taken care of, we are into the final top 10 shootout, and it looks like even Lewis Hamilton managed to hit Max Verstappen there just at the end. So this time round, for our third and final flying lap, we will be on a brand new set of the soft tyres, and again we're just going to let everybody else go out and set their lap first of all. It looks like Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari is top of the table so far, so let's see if we can dethrone him and take his place in the top spot for the race tomorrow. So we're just making our way gently through the final stadium section. We don't want to take too much out of our tyres before we begin the final qualifying lap of the race, which we are now on. So hard brakes, round to our left, just missed the apex there, but not by very much. We want to take as much curb as we can on the right hander here, so we don't run too wide on the exit, and then into the first hairpin, which is rather tight, and then down the back straight, opening the DRS as we go, and into, as I mentioned, my trickiest corners. So if we get the first part here, the left hander right, we could quite well do very well on the right hander here, which we failed to do miserably. Took way too much curb, bounced the car out to the edge of the track and run over the outer curb. But we are on softer tyres, so if we can make the rest of the lap count, we will secure ourselves pole position. So we're just entering into the final stadium section. Little bit too fast into there, we've run a bit wide into the left-hander. We had to take a bit slower through the second left-hander. As much curb as possible on the penultimate corner, and at the final corner we can run nice and wide and across the line for a 1:28.7. So that was the fastest lap so far. Can anybody beat that? So let's get ourselves back to the garage. We'll speed up the final minute of the qualifying session, and this time round Sergio Perez in the other Red Bull has the fastest middle sector, so that is definitely letting us down.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Tempest, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So we have managed to secure pole position for the final race of the season, and we'll have Max Verstappen alongside us. Join us in a couple of hours where we will take on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.